Learning guitar is like leveling up in an RPG. I mean, you don't have to slay dragons to gain XP, but if you wanna build a badass guitar character, you can't just randomly dump skill points everywhere. You gotta focus on what matters to you, find some synergies and map out a solid progression. Even the biggest guitar gods specialize in certain styles. Being a total guitar ninja is overrated and pretty much impossible. Today we're diving into the skill tree called shredding. I'll show you one of super efficient fast playing techniques. They've got their limits, but that's a good thing. Limitations spark creativity. Here's an example. Get ready for Legato Masterclass and grab your guitar! Hammer-on is like hitting a nail with a hammer, but with your finger on a guitar string. Let's start with G string, first finger on 5th fret, I pluck the string, and then hammer on with my second finger on 6th fret. So pluck, hammer on, pluck, hammer on, pluck, hammer on. If the note you're getting is really quiet, you're probably pushing down on the string instead of hitting it. Imagine tapping your fingers on the table, you tense up first, then let your finger relax and hit the string like a piano hammer. Don't try hard, legato isn't about strength, it's about speed and smoothness. Check this out from different angles. Okay, it's time for a total game changer I wish I knew years ago. When you're hammering on, try to relax your other fingers a bit. Imagine jumping from foot to foot. You don't have to lift them, but I'll exaggerate it to show you. Now without exaggeration. To gain full control of your fingers, try to place your thumb between middle and ring. Imagine that you squeeze a sponge. That's a great comparison, and I know it's not always possible to do that. Sometimes our thumb will go to the left, but as much as possible try to rectify it by doing something like this. Doing it this way focuses the force on your hammering fingers and reduces tension. It makes it way easier to shift position when playing tricky licks. Please don't forget to smash that like button and drop a comment, for example, legato. Your support helps me keep making awesome content because who doesn't love free guitar lessons? Thank you so much! Pull-offs are a bit weird, right? It's more like sliding your fingers off the string, not actually pulling it. If you think of it as pulling, you'll end up using too much force. Now I'm starting a petition to call it a slip-off instead. Just kidding, but you get the point. Let's try it out. Similar to hammer-on example, so press your second finger on 6th fret on a G string, pluck it and then pull off to 5th. Pluck, pull off, pluck, pull off. To be efficient, you have to press the string with just your fingertip, not whole finger. And don't yank it, just let it slip off. See how I'm keeping my finger parallel to the fretboard? That's the secret to a great sound. If you jump off the neck, it sounds like you can clearly hear the difference. Just like with hammer-ons, the trick here is to smoothly shift tension from one finger to the next, not to press down hard both of them. Check it out! Now without exaggeration, just relax. Don't press both at once. At first, I recommend sticking to the basics and focusing on simple finger combinations. Just get a feel for the movement and get your hand used to the technique. Even when you're playing basic examples, you will notice that the main challenge with legato isn't speed, it's consistency. Playing something like this is pretty easy, but playing a scale slowly and accurately takes a lot of control. A good sense of rhythm is essential for composing and improvising, so I highly recommend using a metronome for all your practice. Start with quarter notes and then, if you feel comfortable, work on subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... Now let me show you a great warm-up with 2 quick exercises you can do every day. They'll only take like 5 minutes, but they'll make a huge difference in a long run. Alright, so we'll use every finger combination starting with first and second and do something like this. Really simple concept. So I looped hammer on and pull off, and what's very important, I can talk to you while doing that, so I don't try hard and you also shouldn't. Then you can swap to first and third. Relax. First and fourth. Second and third. Second and fourth. And my favorite one is third and fourth. Can be tough at the beginning. In the second warm-up, we'll use 3 fingers. So for example, 1, 2, 4, and do something like this. And the same thing, I can talk to you. English is not my native language, but I'm trying my best. I don't try hard, I'm just focusing on making that as relaxed as possible. You know what I mean? And then first, fourth and third finger. Same stuff. First, second and fourth, but wide shape. Then first, third and fourth with wide shape. It's tricky. And then the most important and most difficult part, second, third and fourth finger. If you're not stretched enough, try to make it in higher positions. And so on and so forth. Then you can dive into some musical structures like scales, sequences, chords, and licks that combine stuff. Sure, that kind of exercises are important, but nothing beats learning from the masters. By breaking down solos, you'll learn how to use legato in a way that really sounds great. If you wanna make it simple, I've prepared a huge resource with tons of examples that you can use right away in your playing. Check it out in my store, plus if you support the channel, you'll get tabs and backing tracks for the lesson. Rhythm is very important, but it's not everything. Now let's talk about dynamics. Because legato notes are smoother, we need to use a softer touch. That's where hybrid picking comes in. Mix picking with plucking strings with your middle finger, so you will mask changing strings. Let me show you. So, pick, finger, pick, finger, pick. I've got a trick called Bazok picking. It's like using a feather instead of pick. You can hide string changes but playing as soft as possible. Alright, so my picking is something like sweep picking. I maintain the same direction and do this as light as possible. I think it's even more consistent than hybrid picking. From what I've seen, most legato lessons focus on producing notes, but muting unwanted strings is just as important. Here are two ways to do it. The concept is pretty easy. My right hand mutes lower strings and my left hand mutes higher strings. I use this part of my thumb. I just like to move it around and stick to strings that shouldn't be ringing at the moment, so it looks like this. Left hand is more complicated. I just use my first finger, this part, so when I press, for example, 5th fret on a G string, my first finger touches B and E. Then the tricky part is that you can also use the fingertip to mute adjacent but lower strings. For example, when I go from E to A, without my right hand I can mute the E string. And so on and so forth. When I go higher, body resonates and engages lower strings, so it's very important to use right hand also. I really recommend to practice with and without distortion. When you play on clean sound, it's harder to make even notes by using hammer-on and pull-offs, and when you play on heavily distorted guitar sound, it's really hard to mute. If you want a top-notch inspiration, not random Polish guitarist, check out guys like Tom Quayle and Rick Graham. To be honest, Rick is my personal guitar god in legato. For more my humble tips, check out my other videos right here. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, keep rocking and grab your guitar. See you next time.